Hi, Adrian from Fatch Fitness. Today's video is about sit-ups and the standard sit-ups you do on the floor. And why is it that you can't sit all the way up? I have a number of clients who have come to me in the past and said, I want to do sit-ups, I can't sit all the way up, am I lacking some abdominal strength? What is it that's actually going on? And so I wanted to sort of run through the main thing that happens, or the reason why you can't sit all the way up, and what people often do to achieve a full sit-up, and how that's not actually improving your core strength. So firstly, let me give you an example. So if I'm going to do or attempt to do a sit-up all the way up, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, I have my arms crossed here, I'm then going to try and sit up. This is as far off the ground as I can go. So I've contracted my abs fully, I've lifted my rib cage off the ground, but that's it. I just can't get any further off the ground no matter how hard I go. Now you see some people will try and swing their way up and use a bit of momentum, but that doesn't really help. What you then see is people will do one of two things. They'll either put their feet underneath something, or they'll get someone to hold their feet down. And that then changes everything about the exercise. So let me demonstrate. So here I've got a small weight. I'm going to pop that on my feet. I'm going to climb back to my start position again here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sit all the way up, relatively easy. So what has changed? It's got to do with what are known as your hip flexors. So what are your hip flexors? Hip flexors are the muscles that attach from your lower back down onto your upper thigh. And what they do is they lift your legs up and down when you walk or jog or run. Now, if you hold your feet down, then the hip flexor can work in reverse. Instead of pulling your legs up, they can then pull your body up instead. Now, while that's potentially dangerous, is because your hip flexors are attached to your lower back. If you don't have good core strength, as you sit up with your feet being held down, your hip flexors are pulling on your lower back, on your lumbar spine, to pull this entire upper body up off the floor. If your core is not very strong and unable to maintain a solid pelvic tilt, what will happen is that you'll put huge amounts of stresses on the attachments on your lower back. And we often see people that will do sit-ups with their feet held down, or they'll do an inclined sit-up with their feet locked underneath, which again is all hip flexor focused. And at the end of the exercise, they'll say, wow, my back's really sore after that. Why was that? That's because most of the work with your setup was being done using your hip flexors and not your core. So the key to this exercise is that once you've got your chest off the ground, you've 100% contracted your abdominals. The remaining movement, if you do want to sit all the way up, has got very little to do with your core. It's got all to do with your hip flexors, which is not what you're trying to train.
Now, before you go, I just want to let you know that we've developed an online course called Introduction to the Core that's now available on our Fatch Fitness website. Now, in this course, we'll cover the following topics. What is the core? What are the muscles that make up the core? How you go about developing a truly strong and functional core? The sorts of exercises that you shouldn't do, because in the early stages, you've got to really do the right sort of exercise to ensure that you don't overload, in particular your lower back. I show you how you can accurately measure your current core strength, and then I provide you with a whole series of exercises that you can work through to develop a truly functional and strong core over time. Now, if you'd like to know more about this course, please click on the link below. That will take you to our Fatch Fitness website, where there is all the information that you need on this particular course. So best of luck, and I hope to see you online. Bye for now.